Yeah, we're going to start with the NFL schedule release, which is slated for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we're going to play a little prediction game in a sec with how many primetime games we think the Browns will and should get. Talk about the games that have already been released. And as always, when we talk Browns, it's brought to us by Lincoln Electric, our dear, dear friends in the electrical manufacturing and welding fields. They are hiring for great jobs all across the board. Check them out today at Lincoln Electric.
A friend of mine is an executive at Lincoln Electric, by the way. It's a great company. They treat their employees very well. So if you are looking for a job, it's a great place to go. Go ahead, Mike.
Do you want to start with the games we know have already come out?
So what Mike is alluding to is, if you haven't been paying attention this morning, the NFL has released, it's sprinkling out a couple of games, a couple of special games. They've released the London games. They've released the Germany games because they're playing 2 games in Germany this year, guys. And they've also released the Black Friday game, which you're going to have an NFL Black Friday game for the first time, Christmas Day and New Year's Eve. So here are some of the games. I was convinced the Bengals-Chiefs was going to be the season opener.
I thought the same thing.
Instead, it's a New Year's Eve game, 4:25, which is still pretty cool. Let's start with that one there.
I don't like the fact it's Week 17. I'm sorry, I don't.
That's not Week 17, is it?
Yeah.
It says Week 17 on the Adam Schefter
it does.
tweet.
Because you never know who's going to play.
Last game of the season, I believe, is the 7th of January.
Oh, okay.
But that late in the season,
the season started a little early.
I want to guarantee that we get a full-on Mahomes-Burrow.
I
don't want
agree.
I
agree. Put your hand down.
No.
You wrong.
Kansas City
You wrong.
Cincinnati's like 14-2 at that point.
It's 18 weeks in the season.
I get that, but what if at that point Kansas City's 13-3?
Those guys are not going to sit for 2 weeks. They don't do that.
But they might not show everything that late in the season.
I'm with McNuggets is right.
No. Go ahead.
Y'all are wrong.
Go ahead.
Y'all are wrong.
Tell him why you're wrong.
And then on top of that, obviously, the offenses will be up and clicking and everything like that.
Yeah.
But if at that time your standings is gonna be what it's gonna be, then it's nothing more, nothing less. Bad
job out of them.
No, it ain't.
They're being prisoners of the now.
Somebody might be hurt by the end.
They want their Christmas present.
But you really rolling the dice.
That game. What did we learn as we went along in the season when they did the schedule before? We learned that you need teams to play games that matter. Chiefs-Bengals has always traditionally mattered because those teams are vying for what? Home field throughout the playoffs.
That's nothing else. G is right. They'll be playing for home field.
They'll be playing for home field, so you guarantee they're going to play their guys. They're going to have – it's going to be a game.
It wouldn't be a good game if it was the first game of the year?
It doesn't have the –
It certainly would be.
It'd be good.
But I love it. Yeah, I agree. In a perfect world, I'd rather it be week 16 than 17. But it's very rare that teams sit guys week 17 and 18.
No.
That doesn't have – you'd have to have a pretty big lead to be sitting to your starting quarterback for 2. Because, first of all, if you sit your starting quarterback and you're the 1 seed, if you sit him 2 weeks, he's not going to play for a month.
No.
Nobody's doing that.
But don't you think if, let's say, these 2 teams are 2 of the best teams, and you know they're on a collision course in the playoffs, week 17 so late in the season, now maybe if it's 12-4 and 13-3 at that point and home field is up in the cards, then yeah, it could pan out that way. But you could also look at it on the other side and say, we're not going to show everything because we're on a collision course.
It's always possible. I think the odds are the game will be meaningful to both teams. Most likely.
Well, this is what I will say.
Okay.
I will say this, okay?
Yeah.
And my opinion means nothing to a lot of people. But I would say that Kansas City is the defending champs. They've been running their division for quite some time. I think that our division, AFC North, has gotten significantly better. So I don't know if I think Cincinnati will be the hungrier team at that point of the season because I think they'll be still fighting for trying to get up in the play. I think at that point, Kansas City will probably already be solidified going to the playoffs.
I don't agree with that.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Because who is the threat over there that's going to knock them?
I still think the Chargers are really good.
It's football.
Yeah.
Y'all got to cut it out.
I
can't believe y'all
it's
right
football,
now.
Boy.
I'm not even going to count out the Broncos if what's his name? I just forgot his name. The coach or the
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. It would shock me if he got Russell Wilson turned around.
It would to me.
I know you hate Russell Wilson.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him at all.
In the NFL, you're going to lose 3 or 4 games that you shouldn't lose. You're going to win 3 or 4 games that you probably should have won. When you look at it traditionally, a couple of years ago, one of the best games in the NFL was the Bengals versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
the Chiefs at the Bengals, right? They needed to get in. Joe Burrow throws for 500 yards. These teams, and by the way, about the whole saving stuff, there's no saving stuff in football.
No, yeah.
It's week to week. You play as hard as you can.
That's right.
Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, yes.
I know a team in Cleveland that tell you that's a lie.
Well, listen, those teams don't really win that much.
And by the way, like if you take away like obviously there's natural rivalries, Raiders and Chiefs and Steelers and Browns, all these but like if you talk about rivalries that have been built by the quality of the teams,
right now.
It's the best one in football. I mean, the teams don't like each other. The left tackle for the Chiefs just went to the Bengals this offseason. Like, there's a lot of bad blood there. They've played each other in a lot of big games. I get you guys are right. It's possible that the game won't be meaningful, but I think the odds of that are small. If it happens, well, you're right, and they screwed up. But I think there's a 90% chance that's a meaningful.
Why couldn't it have been 16?
Because they wanted it to be New Year. I mean, think about if that
made it Christmas Day though.
If that game,
that would have been better.
If that game's meaningful,
everybody watching
4:30 on New Year's Day.
Everybody watching.
New Year's Eve. Excuse me.
They did
it's going to be crazy.
That's going to be crazy.
It's going to be crazy. All right, let's talk about some of the other games that have been. Now, none of the Browns games have been released because the Browns aren't playing. Well, they haven't put out the Thanksgiving schedule yet.
They ain't got no games.
All right, here's the international schedule.
Them games done.
Anything exciting here? The Jaguars always play a couple of international games.
They're playing the first time ever. They're playing back-to-back games in London.
Wow.
Two different stadiums in London, but they're staying over on the other side of the pond in week 4.
Okay, Falcons, Jaguars, Bills. That's a good game, but the fact that it's in London is whatever. The only thing good about the London games is when they play them at like 9:30 because it's another window of football to watch another game.
I agree.
Do you believe? I think this is a thing where they're trying to make Jacksonville be the
the team there.
The team there.
Right? I was actually listening to NFL radio this morning on Sirius, and I can't remember who was hosting the show, but the guy was saying that when Jacksonville plays a home, so the games in Europe are kind of run by the league, almost like, not to the same level, but almost like the Super Bowl. It's almost like kind of a neutral game, even though one team's home. When the Jaguars play a home game in England, it's different. They're the home team. Like, clearly. Like, it's their people working the stadium and stuff like that. And apparently, there's like a weekly Jaguars football show in England.
Wow.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Wow. Like, that, I don't know how I would feel about it if I was a Jaguars fan, but I've always really always wanted, ever since it came out in Madden when you could put teams in Mexico City or Germany, I've always wanted a team in London. I just feel like that's the best way to do it.
It feels like that's the next expansion.
Yeah.
Didn't they have
put a whole division
wasn't it a Euro League?
It was
before?
NFL Europe.
Right, but no, but you're saying like have an NFL division that's a European.
So like we would play like how would that?
Whoa! What you talking about?
Talking about a whole division.
You saying like so it was the AFC Midwest, but they play in London?
Yeah.
The AFC Far East.
Never.
Like no.
Never.
Why not?
You think because people got kids and they got families.
Well,
so if they play a West Coast team or a team like Kansas
Stay
City,
out there.
You'd be out there
Titus.
for a while.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding
the
me?
NFL will do anything to make more money, and the players will agree to anything to make
I ain't
more money.
going over. You think I'm going over there for?
Well, you're not
2
playing
weeks?
anymore. They're going.
Why would you? It's a
You could move your whole family. If you played in England, you can move your whole family to England or Germany or Spain or wherever the hell else.
Don't you got to get don't you got to get like a visa or something?
Yeah.
Not if you. Well, whatever. The NFL don't work in it.
Work that out.
I'm gonna move my family.
How many baseball and hockey players are from other countries that come here?
Move my family to Europe for 6 months.
Why not?
No.
Probably better than the places people are living here.
No. Absolutely not.
Go ahead, Mikey.
We got 15 minutes before Annika Sorenstam joins us, so let's get to the Browns side
That's
of
right.
this.
I didn't tease that. The legendary female golfer is going to be on
the GOAT of
this
women's
11:30.
golfers joining us.
Yeah.
So let's start with the Browns real quick with this. We'll get to the other games later in the show when we go back to football.
Fair enough.
But we do have to talk Browns. We'll start with this question for the panel. How many games do you think the Browns will get in primetime in the 2023 season? Will.
One.
Not should, but will.
1 versus the Bengals.
I'm going to say 2. I think they get a Thursday nighter and a Monday nighter. Bengals 1 and the Ravens the other.
Yeah, Baltimore be the only other one I'd see.
Well, let me see. A couple little birdies have already jumped in my inbox. and they've already given me what they believe to be leaked information. And one of the games that I believe is leaked information is they're saying that they are going to have the Jets playing the Browns on prime time. And they're trying to drum up the fact that it's Aaron Rodgers and the Browns melted down in the worst way possible last year against the Jets. Now, I saw that schedule. I didn't think that might be a thing, but I didn't want to just keep jumping on the bandwagon. I'm not going to give you – I'm going to go with the Jets, and then I'm going to go with the Ravens. And the Ravens is obvious because of Odell Beckham Jr., Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson he got his bag because of Deshaun Watson in his 230. They'll have them both in there talking. But that's a really cool game. That's a cool game. So I got the Jets in there.
Real quick on G's schedule leak, I did see one going around that had a lot of traction yesterday. It is totally fake. Look, it said they were playing the Phoenix Cardinals, not the Arizona Cardinals. So that was your first dead giveaway for the, I think, 400 people I saw that retweeted it.
Yeah.
It is totally fake. Don't believe any of that.
Yeah.
I've received 7 different ones in my inbox. As the Duke of Knee Jerk, it is my responsibility to knee jerk behind the scenes before I do it in public. Yeah. So I'm having the knee jerk staff look over that stuff with a fine tooth comb.
You gotta have here's the reality. Obviously, the team is most important to us, but the reality is across the league, the Browns this year at the moment are not a huge story. First of all, to get a lot of primetime games, you have to be an excellent team. And the Browns, right now, the average person probably thinks they're a mediocre team. Not excellent.
I actually don't think you got to be an excellent team. I just think you got to just have.
That's one of them. Okay. I'm giving you a few reasons. Number 2, there's got to be a big-time storyline.
Yes.
Last year there was because of Watson. Now, he's still here, but we're not talking about – nationally, Watson's not going to get discussed like he was last year.
Yes.
Right? He will here, but not nationally. So that's not as big a story. And then it's popularity of the team. Now, the Browns do have a national following, especially with older fans, but it's not like – it's not like a New York team or – whatever, like the Steelers, some of these teams that are more popular nationally than the Browns are. I would say the Browns are popular nationally, definitely, but they're more in the lower end of the upper echelon of popularity more than the top, I think. So all those things combined to me means the Browns won't have a lot of primetime games because there's teams that more people are interested in. That you got to think about, like, what teams are the neutral fans interested in? Like for us, besides the Browns and we'll say the Bengals for me, of the other 32 teams, who are we most interested in seeing in prime time and for whatever reason?
I think that they will be guaranteed one, and I think that they'll get flexed into another one.
If they're a good team.
If they do well and they do what we think that they're supposed to do, I think, one of those weeks 16, 17, 18, maybe not 18 because 18 everybody plays early, 16 or 17 gets flexed into a night game. And because obviously they always got it scheduled that one team is going to be this and they don't pan out. They end up flexing them out of that spot. So I think that the Browns, if they do what we think, and Deshaun Watson is playing like he's supposed to, and the play calling is going well, and that defense is electric, then they will find a way to get them in a prime time
Absolutely, because the Browns are popular enough that if Deshaun Watson is playing really well and the Browns are better than the average fan thinks they're going to be, then there's certainly a possibility of that.
I will take it a step further. The Browns have the biggest boom or bust capabilities of any team in the league. If the Browns, if Deshaun Watson is coming for the first 3 or 4 games, he comes out, hot, like fish grease, it'll set up a conundrum.
Hot like fish.
Yeah, that's hot grease, bro.
That is hot.
If you set up a conundrum because the mainstream media does not want to talk about Deshaun Watson at all. You could actually see it in the way they write stories. They say dumb stuff like, well, Deshaun Watson is what he is, and I'll put the Browns at 25th as the 25th best team because, no, you just have to come out and say it. You just don't like what the allegations of Deshaun Watson are. You can't use 230 anymore. You just specifically have to just say it when it comes to that. And so when you look at it,
But in fairness, the Browns weren't good last year.
Yes, but so here's the thing. So in fairness, they don't have to talk about them, right? If you're not good, they could just put. But if you are now good, now you have to start to think, because what'll happen is if you got Deshaun Watson playing these games and he's hot, and they said, man, after 4 games, it looked like Deshaun Watson is the real MVP of the league. Deshaun Watson.
Don't let that be the story.
And then you have to pivot and say, well, dang, we don't got him on TV like that.
Yeah.
And the more you don't have him on TV, that groundswell starts to happen. You start to get people mentioning it, because, by the way, the Browns are very popular when they're rolling.
Yeah.
When they had Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr., they was on Colin Cowherd every day.
Listen to who you just said.
The Browns have created a lot of controversy over the years. And if Deshaun Watson plays well, it will become a huge story.
It will be a huge thing.
Right.
And then it will
On the other hand, if he plays poorly, the Browns are completely off the radar.
And then they will blow them up and get them out of here. And
yeah.
But I will say this is the biggest story in the world right here. Even if Deshaun Watson is the best player in the game and he comes out and throws for 5,000 yards or something stupid, and the Browns are demonstrably better and they are a first-round bye type team, the story will be, can you give Deshaun Watson the MVP? Because I said it after the allegations last year happened. I think that they will never give him the MVP.
Well,
did Tom Brady?
we got a long way to go from he was crappy last year to being the MVP.
Wait a minute. Did Tom Brady get the MVP the year he was suspended for the 4 games for Deflategate?
No.
I thought he did.
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't care.
I don't think any players
I think those storylines to me are blown. I don't really care about those things personally. I get what a lot of people do. I'm in the minority. I'm in the minority on that. But you know what? If he plays well enough to be in conversation, I'm not going to care about that. I'm going to care about
if Deshaun Watson go out there and throw for something incredible, and the Browns are a top in a playoff team, they got to give it to him.
If the Browns' biggest problem is Deshaun Watson didn't win the MVP when he should have, that's not really a problem.
Can you imagine, McNuggets?
They got to give it to him.
Can you imagine? Because here's what all that's going to happen is the Browns have never had a caliber player like that. So what will happen is the groundswell will be so big, and Browns fans do feel a little jaded.
I think he'd still win. But you know what? Who gives a crap? Because let him play one game at Hall of Fame level.
Right.
Hall of Fame? Hall of Fame, yeah. Let him play. Let it sounded wrong in my head.
MVP.
Let him play one game at MVP level.
It's
Hall
hard
of Fame
for
level.
him to even say Hall of Fame and Deshaun Watson.
We got to see it. We got to see it.
I do think he's going to be very good this year. I don't think he's going to win MVP, but I think he's going to be very good. But he's got to do it.
I just think it's. I just think that will he ever be Houston Deshaun Watson again? I don't know, because
he better be.
Does he have to be that good?
Better than that.
He got to be better than Houston to be successful. Because he got more weapons here.
Well, he wasn't good as Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes got better. Even when they was in his prime, he wasn't better than Mahomes.
The AFC is as good as it's been. The quarterbacks in the AFC are better than we've seen in forever. He's got to be great. You can't win in the AFC.
Deshaun Watson's best statistical season? Give me that when you get a chance.
I think it was 19.
No, I just want to hear the numbers.
Yeah.
I just want to hear the numbers.
His best season ever, statistically speaking, was the 2020 season. He played 16 games, and that was still when it was a 16-game schedule. It was the year before it went to 17. The Texans went 4-12.
He threw for 5,000 yards, right?
Very close. He had a 70% completion percentage. He threw for 4,823 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And on the ground, he added 2020, he added 444 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, they need that guy.
So 36 touchdowns and 7 picks.
That's what they need.
He throw for that. That's an MVP right there.
Granted, real quick, and this is just a caveat with those numbers. They went 4-12. A lot of those were fourth quarter. They were down big.
But
not stat padding numbers, but he was phenomenal.
There's always stat padding in the NFL from everybody.
I mean, 70% completion.
That's ridiculous.
He's got to play. Statistically, we need to see numbers similar to that.
But they ain't going to do that because Nick Chubb is still a factor here. See, Deshaun Watson didn't have a run game back in Houston.
That's fine.
He
doesn't have to have those exact same numbers, but they got to be close.
We need 40.
I don't care what kind of running. Joe Mixon's a good back. Joe Burrow still puts up huge numbers.
What's your benchmark? What is he? right?
He's got to throw for 4,700 yards at least.
And how many touchdowns?
And 30
40.
touchdowns.
42.
Wow, 40's I'm not asking for 40.
Hey, listen,
look.
get your knees together. 40. Look.
I want to see a minimum of 32.
The knees!
40.
The knees!
40.
For me, it's 30. It's 30-something
42.
touchdowns. He should average about 2 touchdowns per game.
So you
Come
say
on.
30,
34.
34.
How many quarterbacks threw for 40 touchdowns last year?
0.
One. How many? Patrick Mahomes?
Mahomes was the only one. No one else threw for more than 35.
Who threw 35?
Who threw 30?
Burrow and Allen.
Burrow only played 16 games.
Well, so did Allen.
Look at Sean. Look at Sean. Look at Sean.
It was
So wait a minute. Knowing what you know now, what did he need?
It was cold last year. Knees.
30-something touchdowns.
The knees!
So to get back
Yeah.
to the schedule question. So we all gave us how many games do you think they will get in prime time?
2.
Before the show,
Yeah, that's
Tyvus
right.
and Bobo said they should get none.
None. They ain't
Not
deserve.
1. They should get 1.
Tyvus is saying none.
They got to show it to me first.
Yeah.
I mean,
They should get 4.
because it's no point in them getting a primetime game, and if they look like they did last year,
No,
then
that's fair.
Come
That's
on,
fair.
man. Come on, man. Listen, let's not act like
what?
Let's not.
I will say that the one when they played the Bengals on that Monday night, they were unbelievable.
That was their best game of
And
the
I
year.
think how many primetime games did they get last year? 1 or 2?
They played
2,
the
I
Chiefs,
think.
not
2?
the Chiefs, the Steelers on Thursday Night Football.
And they won them both.
Bengals on Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Did
And
they play a Sunday night or no?
I feel like they did play a Sunday Nighter.
Did they play a Sunday?
thought they
I don't
did.
think
I
they
remember
did.
seeing
No,
that Super
wait,
Bowl
maybe
What
they
were you
did.
saying, G?
I'm
Well, they play well.
think
Maybe
they
they do
should get
need
4
it. I
games?
take back my
They
statement.
won 7 games last year.
So I'm,
And 2 of them was Monday. It was prime
The
time
question
games.
is should. The
I'm,
question is
I'm,
should
I'm,
be.
listen, here's my thing, bro. Even if you take that, listen, we had a JV squad
Might
last
need
year.
the whole 17
Did
games. in
nobody
prime
want to see
time.
Jacoby Brissett throwing a rock around, bro? they like, come on, man, like that. We ain't trying to see that. And then we ain't even had no good playbook where we even was conducive to. We was just play action.
They
Right,
were.
36 tight ends.
But going into the season, the Browns coming off a bad year. You don't know what to expect for Watson.
Hey, you
I
act
don't
like
think to say the Browns
The
should
Ravens
be on
were
4
a Sunday
games.
Night Football game. It was 3 last year.
It was
The
3.
It was 3.
Ravens,
Yeah.
late in the season, Sunday Night Football.
So here's my thing.
So we lost 1.
So
it was 2-1.
So even if you say 2 or 3, or you give it 3, I'll give you a reason why the Browns should be on TV. Last time I checked, they got pretty much a top 1, 2, 3 defensive player in Myles Garrett, right? Okay. You do have the best running back in the league, right? Nick Chubb, who everyone loves, right? And you do. We just got done talking about you got a quarterback that at one point in time that was one of the best quarterbacks in the entire game.
At the moment, there's 10, 12 quarterbacks people like more.
Okay, but if you
And
get
nobody really cares about Myles Garrett. It's like nobody is the average football fan putting on that game to watch Myles Garrett.
sure.
Average football fan watches games to bet and play and for fantasy football.
Well, here's the thing.
That's terrible.
When you hear Pittsburgh Steelers, we hear T.J. Watt all the time. All the time. Like he just pops up.
Game changer.
I wouldn't put the Steelers on. I wouldn't put the Steelers on primetime period.
I put
I
them
don't wanna
versus
watch
the
them. They're
Ravens for
boring.
sure.
Do you think people go watch Michael Parsons?
Yes.
Why wouldn't you say they go to watch Myles Garrett then?
I don't think they go. I don't think.
Also, Michael Parsons plays for Dallas.
I don't think
Okay.
Dallas is a very popular team.
Exactly. It's like
But
one of the
I don't think anybody, not anybody, but I think the majority of people that are just would put on a random night game are not watching it because of one good defensive player. I don't believe that.
Okay, well, look.
I know you guys both play defense.
Oh, yeah,
But
you're
fans
you're
want
wrong.
offense.
You're
They want
absolutely
scoring.
so Dion didn't have everybody looking at the
Dion, I'll
TV.
give you Dion.
Okay, thank you very
I'll give you
much.
Dion.
Don't
Now-
do that.
now-
Don't do
But
that.
Dion was a once in a lifetime
You
player.
said ain't nobody turning on to see a
One
defensive player.
Dion's the
Dion
one.
had
And
everybody
The game was
looking.
different then because defense. In those days, people would turn on for defense more. Nowadays,
They don't want to see. They don't want to see Chubb.
some people, the majority of the average
Pause.
fans, it's gambling and it's fantasy. They want to see scoring.
So you got one of the best. You got one. You
But
got
Chubbalicious is not.
Did you just remix that?
I did that. I love Nick Chubb.
Chubbalicious.
But in terms of fantasy football, Nick Chubb is not elite.
Fantasy-wise, I wouldn't say that.
Deshaun Watson could be.
But so my
Could be, but there's guys we know are already going into.
Amari Cooper is really good at fantasy.
He's good. He's not elite.
And
Will you cut it out? What's wrong with you?
and wouldn't you just want to play like I would if I was a regular fan?
Yeah.
I would want to see this guy who everybody is talking about. That's such a stirring the controversy. This Deshaun Watson.
But we're talking about going into the season. To me, until they're good, wouldn't be on the top of the list if I'm a neutral person of teams I want to see. Now, if they get off to a good start, and now Deshaun Watson becomes a big story because if he plays, either way, he's going to become a story. If he plays like crap, people are going to pile on and crap on him. But if he plays well, it's going to be this where people are going to have to talk about how well he's playing. At the same time, they're going to be mad because people are rooting against him.
That's when he's going to
and
get
then
flexed.
It becomes a big story, and then they're worthy of being on more. But not going into the season.
Like going into the season, I'll just play devil's advocate. There are people, when Jay gets here, he'll tell you. He's already said, they already got this baked in. If he doesn't play well, this is the worst trade in NFL history.
No, they said if he don't win a Super Bowl.
But no, he said if he don't win a Super Bowl.
No. The worst trade in NFL history was Ricky Williams getting traded for the entire draft.
No. That was a bad one, but that's not the worst.
He gave up every pick.
No. The worst trade was the Herschel Walker trade with the Cowboys and Vikings. That led to the Cowboys winning 3 Super Bowls. The Vikings gave up 1 million draft picks for Herschel Walker,
and it was a running back.
That was the worst trade. The one you mentioned is probably the second worst. This would be bad. Obviously, if he's not good, it's going to be bad. But the worst trade of all time, no way.